And so I do want to say a bit more about Liz Cheney. You all know her leadership, and she has obviously and so importantly been a leader for the people of Wyoming, but she has also been an extraordinary national leader.
A few moments later.
Harris is out on the campaign trail today with Liz Cheney. Your thoughts on that?
Well, Liz Cheney lost for Congress. She was terrible. Liz Cheney is a stupid war hawk. All she wants to do is shoot missiles at people.
So former President Trump tears Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney a new one when he responds to the fact that Liz Cheney is now campaigning with Kamala Harris after the media is now going into overdrive to beg rhino Republicans to vote for Kamala Harris. So what we're going to do is take a look at the desperation that is unfolding and talk about it.
This year, I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris.
The vice president campaigning today in Ripon, Wisconsin, the birthplace of the Republican Party back in 1854.
He who violated the oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. And make no mistake, he who, if given the chance, would violate it again.
Kamala Harris has unleashed nothing but chaos and suffering for American labor. With historic inflation, she's made life excruciating for the blue-collar workers.
Here in battleground Wisconsin, Trump supporters we spoke with are deeply skeptical of Cheney, who lost her GOP primary in a landslide.
Do you think that Liz Cheney speaks for the Republican Party?
No. Absolutely not.
Now, when Liz Cheney comes out and says that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, threat to humanity, what she is really saying, if you want me to translate it for you, is that Donald Trump is for the people and not for the establishment. That's really what's taking place here. That's why you have people on the Republican side that don't like Trump, and you have everybody on the Democrat side that don't like Trump. What does that say about Trump when that happens? I think that's a compliment. Because for so long, career politicians have done what to this country? Sold out the working class. They have not done anything. They've only rewarded the people who are obviously the elites, the donors, these military contractors and other countries, and they've just been printing money. So that's why it makes so much sense that she would come out against Trump. She thinks it's a smart thing, but no, what she's doing is pandering to the establishment. And listen, I would be remiss if we didn't at least show you what Liz Cheney actually thinks about Kamala Harris. Watch this.
Can you talk to me kind of your thoughts on the on Joe Biden naming Kamala Harris as his running mate?
Her views are so radical that just from a political standpoint, it was a surprising pick to me. So I think in addition to the fact that she would be a terrible vice president policy-wise for the country, it tells us something about Joe Biden. And it's very clear. She is a radical liberal. She's somebody that has said we ought to spend $32 trillion on Medicare for all. If you look at her record as well in California, she did, in fact, essentially ban gun sales with executive action. And she threatened during the primaries to do the same thing if she's elected, if she were elected here. So I do think the American people are going to take a look at this record and realize she is very much a radical liberal. Every single day, the Democrats tell us what they would do in, as Kamala Harris put it yesterday, quote, a Harris administration with Joe Biden. They would defund our police, dismantle our freedom, destroy our history, and abandon our founding values. And every day, you see the damage of years of Democrat policies. The president has said Vice President Harris is in charge of the border. Vice President Harris said she was not in charge of the border. Nobody seems to be in charge. She hasn't been there. And we have a humanitarian and national security crisis and health crisis.
Now, you know what's interesting about all those statements? Those were back in 2020, by the way, is that everything she said came true. That it has been a Harris administration because she's been the tie-breaking vote on 33 pieces of legislation, which is a record for a vice president. That's number one. Number two, she was the border czar. We know this. She was put in charge to mitigate the root causes of migration, which she utterly failed. That is true. Three, they have destroyed our founding values for this country, if you want to call it that. And so I find it interesting that she says Democratic policies have ruined the country, but I'm going to vote for a Democrat. Right. So it tells you what's taking place in American politics, where you have the rise of populism and the rise of establishment. And it's becoming very polarizing. And you're seeing people pick sides to tell you where they really are. And of course, I find the most desperate people that you'll find on the TV channels today is the evil women from The View. This is them getting desperate, asking Republicans to just vote one time for Democrats. Yeah, give me a break.
Those Republicans out there who are sitting on the fence, just do it this one time. Do it this one time. Vote for the Democrat to save the country. Listen to Liz Cheney. When everything goes back to normal, then become a Republican again, like Alyssa will become, and probably Anna.
Kamala said the day of a robust two-party system will come back.
Well, but listen, the thing is this. We can have policy differences. You can have policy differences with Kamala. You can have policy differences with Liz Cheney. We are not at a point right now to be talking about policy differences. This is not about economic difference, because we are not running against a normal human being. Right. We are running against Donald Trump, who is an existential threat to humanity and democracy.
Before we just go, I do want to say, I am still a Republican, and I don't believe it's my job to tell people how to vote, but to give them the facts. And I have facts, having worked closely with them, that they just may not know. I feel that's my duty to the country. So I think, and allow the chips to fall where they may. People will decide how they vote, but that's what I'm going to do.
I mean, her face on the screen right now is exactly how I feel every time I have to react to a clip from The View. All right, so the two-party system, give me a break. That is over with. I mean, if you can't see the writing on the wall, if you truly think voting Kamala Harris in is going to bring back the two-party system and politics the way that it used to be, you are freaking delusional. We are not going back to the way things used to be. I mean, it's just a fact, okay? And you could thank former President Trump for that. He broke American politics in half, and I think it needed to be broke in half because the two-party system has been disrupting progress in this country. And the second thing is, I don't know why they don't understand. Voting for Kamala Harris or Trump really does not impact people like them on that show. They go to that show and give their opinion, and they're paid millions of dollars. It doesn't matter who the president is for them. Whatever policies the president will pass does not truly affect them, because the reality is this is a three-branch government. And at the end of the day, policies do matter. It's what allows the government to govern. So if you're on the fence and you're trying to figure out, should I vote for Kamala Harris or former President Trump, why don't you just look at something that's very clear, which is the policies? And that's what Scott Jennings had to say about Liz Cheney and this ridiculous, desperate plea from these Trump deranged individuals to vote for Kamala Harris. Let's take a look.
I just fundamentally disagree that we won't have a democracy. I think this country is stronger than any individual politician in either party. And so I believe deeply that the policy differences matter. So did Liz Cheney at one point. She used to call Kamala Harris a radical liberal who would raise taxes, take away guns and health insurance, and explode the size and power of the federal government. Now, this means something to a lot of people. And so, I don't begrudge her viewpoints, and obviously she strongly dislikes Donald Trump and what he represents. But there are a heck of a lot of people in this country who thought they were getting something out of Biden and Harris that they did not get. And there's a lot of Republicans and conservatives who probably may have some proclivities that Cheney has about what Trump did on January the 6th, but are mortified at the policy outcomes of Biden and Harris. They were not moderates. They were radical liberals, just like Cheney predicted they would be.
Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, do us a favor. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below. Grab yourself a t-shirt or buy us a cup of coffee. Yeah, so what Scott Jennings said is what common sense sounds like, and someone who has the emotional maturity to do calculations in their head based on risk. Clearly, it's going to come down to what's a bigger risk. The potential of another January 6th, which there isn't a potential because Trump can only serve for 4 years if we go with their logic, okay? Or is it a bigger risk to have Kamala Harris serve for the next 8 years and continue to do what Joe Biden has done over the past 4 years? I don't know. You do the math. You know what my answer is. And that's why you see these Trump deranged media companies really deploying desperate measures by bringing on former people who worked during the Trump administration, who may have been fired by Trump, may have gotten in trouble because of Trump. Maybe the DOJ went after these people because of the Trump administration. Anyways, they're bringing on these people to try to, I don't know, convince never-Trumpers to vote for Kamala Harris, because we know she's such a weak candidate that even people who hate Trump are not necessarily voting for her. Take a look at this clip.
A no for you after that. Why was it important for you to say no more Trump because of his January 6th conduct, and do you stand by that?
No, I don't stand by it, and I'll tell you why. I've now lived 4 years under the Biden-Harris policies, and I have to say that those policies are not only becoming an existential threat to our country's way of life, but to our allies as well.
So when you,
and
this
it has
is,
to,
this is,
no,
so
no,
Ambassador, this is, I'll let you finish, but
no,
this is so striking. You said it was a no for me after that, after January 6th.
I did.
And here we are right now.
I did.
And you're saying it's a yes for you.
It is a yes for me. It is an absolute yes for me. That is how badly the Biden-Harris team have prosecuted their job.
But the whole point you seem to be making was that January 6th and that kind of attack on democracy is bigger than any policy.
But I am seeing so many attacks on democracy that eclipse January 6th.
Now, if you guys pay close attention, who is sitting to his right? Peter Navarro, who served 4 months in prison, just got out, by the way, and he spoke at the RNC. But this former ambassador, who clearly right after January 6th said, hey, I am never going to vote for Trump once again, has gotten to see the results, and he's comparing. And that's why I said in the last clip with Scott Jennings, it's just a comparison with risk. So MSNBC tried and they failed. It isn't going to work to try to convince these never-Trumpers due to January 6th to vote for Kamala Harris. I just don't see them doing that because they still have some level of rationalization in their mind. And then I guess CNN has joined the party and trying to be desperate to get a public endorsement live on air from another former ambassador by the name of John Bolton, who was Trump's national security advisor. And here is that clip.
Sir, we are, of course, just 33 days from the presidential election. And I know you have said that you plan to vote for Dick Cheney to write him in. Dick Cheney put out a statement saying that he is going to vote for Kamala Harris. His daughter, Liz Cheney, is going to campaign with her, we learned this morning. He said, as citizens, we each have a duty to put country above partisanship, to defend our Constitution. And that is why I will be casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. Does that sway you at all, that the man that you say you think should be president is urging people to vote for Kamala Harris?
Well, it's caused me to reassess whether to vote for Dick. I mean, I'm looking to vote for a conservative Republican, and I certainly think Dick is a conservative Republican. If he were to win, you know, not much chance of that, I suppose. I don't think he'd put Kamala Harris in his cabinet. I had originally thought in 2020 I'd write in Ronald Reagan to make the point even more effectively, and maybe that's what I'll do this time. I am not going to vote for either Harris or Trump. Neither one are qualified to be president.
So I don't think she was expecting that response from John Bolton on that one. But that's the type of calculations that a lot of these never-Trumpers or rhino Republicans are doing in their mind. Is it really worth politically to vote for Kamala Harris right now? Like, why do you think we haven't heard from Mitt Romney? Why do you think George Bush hasn't come out and said anything? There's a lot of people who would rather say nothing than to go out publicly and endorse Kamala Harris. That's how bad she is. That's how bad her policies are, okay? We know they were never going to support Trump anyway because some people are so caught up in January 6th, they cannot move on. That's one reason. The second reason, Trump is not a part of the establishment. He represents a movement that a lot of these rhino Republicans and establishment politicians believe is a threat to America. And so that's why you see the reactions that you are seeing. And one of the reactions that I wanted to save for last, you know, you want to save the best for last, right? Is what former President Trump had to say about Liz Cheney campaigning with Kamala Harris. Listen to this.
Harris is out on the campaign trail today with Liz Cheney. Your thoughts on that?
Well, Liz Cheney lost for Congress. She was terrible. Liz Cheney is a stupid war hawk. All she wants to do is shoot missiles at people. I really think it hurts. I think, frankly, if Kamala, I think they hurt each other. I think they're so bad, both of them.
So former President Trump is the only politician in history who can make remarks like that, because a lot of the things that he says is exactly what people are thinking. A lot of people are thinking, Liz Cheney, are you guys that stupid that you would vote for someone who's so radical that you also said was so radical, and that what you said that they would do has been done? That's how stupid you guys are, really? I mean, I don't think it's really that offensive of a comment. I think it's dead on. Anyways, as I wrap up, I just want to leave you guys with this final point. The media has gotten desperate. Kamala Harris and her campaign has gotten desperate. They're trying to roll out every single endorsement they possibly can. They're trying to target never-Trumpers. But as they continue to do that, they come off desperate, and it blows up in their face, i.e. John Bolton, i.e. the former ambassador that we saw, Peter Navarro. I mean, it just isn't a smart move. And so I think they're wasting too much time trying to do that instead of going out and speaking to the voters they really need to convince. And that's my opinion. So what do you guys think about Trump tearing a new one into Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris, and seeing how desperate the media is getting to try to get these people to vote for Kamala Harris? Let me know your thoughts are and more in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.